Hello, beautiful people. Ololade of Most Fashion Fix here once again. You're welcome to my channel. And what we're doing today, as usual, is me analyzing this beautiful dress with illusion of a two-piece. Yes, this is actually a dress, but it is having an illusion of a two-piece. You can see it's seeming like we have a blouse and a skirt, but actually what we have here is a dress. Okay, so starting from the front of this dress, let's start with the neckline. The neckline of this dress is actually a built-up neckline, which is actually asymmetry. That is, what we have on the right side is not the same thing we have on the left side. The right side is actually lower, while the left side is higher. Okay, so and the same thing is applicable to the back as well. The right side is actually lower and the left side is higher. Okay, so and it has this cut that is looking like a rectangular cut that is also asymmetry. Okay, so we have, it is a shoulder princess bustier. That is, the style line is coming from the shoulder and not armor princess bustier. Okay, so one thing I'd like to mention to you here, designers, is that when you're working with Mikado fabric, yes, the fabric work I worked with here is Mikado. So when you're working with Mikado fabric, please do not pad your fashion fabric. By fashion fabric, I mean the fabric on the outside, your main fabric you're working with. Okay, do not pad your fashion fabric. Instead, pad your lining. Pad your lining instead, because you can see what happens when you pad your fashion fabric instead. It has these wrinkles, and no matter how much you press, it doesn't just lay flat. Okay, but imagine if we had padded the lining would have looked this way and the fashion fabric would have looked smooth like this. Okay, so then the lining I worked with here is doll face, and of course I have interfacing on the bodies except for the skirt. I have ST interfacing on these bodies. Okay, so the skirt is actually an A-line skirt. Yes, it is not circle, it's not 90 degree, it's not 180 degree. It is an A-line skirt that is just manipulated. That is, there is just a cut on the side, front and the side back. Can you see there is a cutout? This is the actual length of the skirt. This is the actual length of the skirt. Then there is a cutout, and the skirt is also lined. You can see, right? And the blouse is also lined. Can you see? So for the sleeve is actually a manipulated sleeve as well. But then I have a lining which is a basic sleeve. So the lining I have inside here is a basic sleeve. So the manipulated sleeve here is more like just slash and spread. Then it has a little bit of volume on the crown as well. So the excess was pleated on the lining and was used to turn it out. Okay, so for the back of this dress, this is what the back looks like. This is what the back looks like. Can you see? It is also beautiful. And now let me show you the inside of this dress, so you see exactly how all the connections were made to make it a single piece instead of a two-piece. Now I'm going to talk about my zipper here not being the same color of my fabric. This dress was actually a dime-minute dress, and imagine working with only one zipper, or you add two zipper actually. So when I first fixed my zipper, it's worn out. Not really worn out, I mistakenly drew out the zipper head, and I didn't have any other option than to work with a contrasting color. And since I was going to make the blouse cover it up, I'm like, okay, we're still good. So this is the blouse on its own. It has its own zipper, and the skirt has its own zipper as well. Meanwhile, I intentionally made this skirt zipper short so as to not sell it out that it is actually a two-piece. Okay, so I intentionally made the zipper shorter on the skirt. Okay, my getaway was that it's an A-line skirt, so it will be easy for me to wear whether the zipper is getting to the hip line or not. Okay, so this is what the inside looks like. So the trick about this design is that you can see the front doesn't have any cuts on the waistline. It's actually a full scale blouse. Okay, but for the lining is going to have joining. It's going to have an half cut. So you can see the lining inside, right? So the lining is having an half cut, which will make it easy to do all this manipulation. Meanwhile, this doesn't still make it very easy. Like having this dress as a complete bagged out seam, I mean inseam finishing, is not a walk in the park. It is not easy at all. So you can see all the connection on the inside, that everything is perfectly finished inside. You can see, and everything is properly aligning. Can you see? So for some sewing technique designers, nobody can actually tell you, okay, join this part first, or join this part as the second part. You'll be the one to sit down and think. In fact, there will be points that after joining, you realize that, oh, for me to be able to turn out this part properly, I need to loosen this part first. So it is not every time that anyone can categorically tell you exactly what you should do at every point in time. What will help you is accumulated sewing techniques that you have learned over time. When I conceived this idea of having an illusion of a two-piece dress, I didn't know exactly how I was going to sew it. Even though I was trying, many times designers, we try to sew in our head, but I was trying to sew in my head. It wasn't just sewing. So I'm like, okay, the best thing for me to do is just to draft my pattern and get onto the sewing machine. Okay, so designers, this is just me showing you that anything is possible. If you can think it, you can achieve it. Okay, so anything is basically possible. And let me even turn it completely out for you to see. So designers, this is what the wrong side looks like, and this is where I did the final turning out from. Okay, so designers, so here is where I did the final turning out from. Can you see? This is the opening through which I turned everything out finally. So this is the wrong side. And one thing you need to make sure of when you're working with the built up neckline is that the fashion fabric is the same thing you should use for lining of the center back and the center front. You can see it's only my side that is doll face. The center front and the center back, what I have here is still my Mikado fabric. And the reason for that is that your lining is going to show on the right side. Okay, so for that reason, you make use of your fashion fabric. And designers, this is the beautiful inside of this outfit. You can see the blouse, the blouse is basically on its own all the way to the side. It is on its own. So the skirt is just joined on the waistline. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section, designers. So this is the overall look. You can see everything is matching up perfectly. You can see the side is matching up well, and this other side is also matching up perfectly. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say about this? Everything is neatly finished. I just have something for technical designs that will make me rack my head. You might be wondering that, okay, what do I achieve with that at the end of the day? One thing is that designs like this make it help improve your cognitive ability, like ability for you to think on your own, ability to be creative and do things on your own. This is what designs like this make you do. You realize how far you can solve so many problems on your own. And how do you get to learn all of these? It is not everything that you can see in a video. It is not everything that you can see written in a book. So many things are as a result of you practicing consistently, you trying things out, you challenging yourself. So designers, if you have any question as regards this outfit, kindly put them in the comment section, and I hope it will be questions that can actually be responded to via just text. Okay, so once again, my name is Ololade of Most Fashion Fix. So designers, I'm imploring you today that challenge yourself with something you've not done before. Challenge yourself, okay? If there is a design or there is something you haven't tried or you haven't laid your hands on before, just try and challenge yourself to do those things. Please, this is how you improve yourself. If you don't get it right on the first trial, try again and again. Okay, the funny thing is that if I'll make this design again, I won't even take much time as I did when I was making the first one, because I already have the experience on how to go about my sewing techniques. Okay, so this is exactly how these things work. And I'm not saying there's no space for learning, like somebody making a tutorial video to teach you, show you the sewing process, but it is not every time that you have that time to wait. And truly, it's not every design that somebody will create a course on. That is the truth. It is not every design. So it is by you learning principles, you learning sewing techniques, because the sewing techniques I used to make this dress actually, it's part of the sewing technique that are used when making an illusion outfit, when making insect design, ashwebi for that matter. But this is not even an ashwebi. But then the principles, the techniques used can be borrowed into each other. So I'm imploring you, don't be so much after I want to learn how to make this particular style. See, let me share something little with you. There are times I create design, there are times I create online courses, and I use a particular fabric, let's say an Ankara fabric, to make a design. Then I use yeah, I have a course like that. I use an Ankara fabric to make it. I use a damask fabric, and the main class I used lace fabric. Many times when people tell me they want to take this class and they send me this particular Ankara blouse I made, that this is what they want to learn, and I show them the course flyer where I used lace fabric, they'll be like, no, they want to learn that Ankara. Meanwhile, it is basically the same thing. What is different is just the choice of fabric. So don't always be confused by choice of fabric. The fact that Ankara was used there and damask was used there doesn't mean the sewing technique is different. It is still the same sewing technique. So that is to tell you that many are so after learning a particular style. And if you are after a particular style, you will learn till eternity. No, I'm not saying learning is not learning is continuous, but I don't even know how to. You understand the context in which I'm trying to talk to you right now. So don't be so much after you want to learn this particular style. You want to learn this particular style. It is beyond learning styles. Fashion designing is beyond learning styles, dear designers. So at this point, I will just say thank you so much for watching. And once again, my name is Ololade of Most Fashion Fix. I'll see you in the next one, designers. Bye.